Welcome back, everyone, to another downward day. And boy, if you think today is downward, I got news for you. Tomorrow might take the cake as one of the most downward days of the entire year for me. And boy, I'm not looking forward to it, because tomorrow I'm gonna have to go down to the dentist to get a tooth filled. Now, most of you probably listening to that and saying, big deal. But you know what? It is a big deal for me, because believe it or not, I have thus far actually never had any sort of dental procedure ever done on me. And now that I mention it, I don't think I've had any substantial surgery at all. The closest thing I can think of is when I was 5 or 6 and I went to this kid's birthday party. And inside of the house they had this column with an exposed pointy metal base, and then I jumped off another column and hit my knee on the other one, and I had to get my knee stitched up. And funnily enough, I don't actually recall the stitches being that traumatizing of an event, so you'd think that I have nothing to fear here, but man, things certainly change from the time you're 6 years old, when you have no actual understanding of anatomy, no paranoia and fear and cynicism of the system around you. Suffice to say, I've definitely unlocked the ability to feel more paranoid about these things now. You see, it's not that I'm skeptical of medical science. What I'm skeptical about is the medical industry and their ability to sort of sell you on things that you don't really need. That's always been a pretty big underlying fear of mine. That these doctors and dentists or whatever, they're not operating in good faith, and they're really just trying to push some sort of expensive drug or surgery on you. And that's a latent fear I've had ever since I was a teenager. And based on my personal experience, I've had good reason to believe that that's the case. I remember back when I was in high school, the dentist I used to go to, they didn't sit right with me. You know, as a kid growing up in the suburbs, I had a variety of different dentists, and most of them seemed perfectly fine. But the last one I had before I moved out to college, those guys just... something not right about them. We definitely started off on the wrong foot, because I remember the first appointment I had booked with them. For whatever reason, the receptionist brought me into the dental chair, and I basically had to sit there for like an hour and 45 minutes before anyone saw me. I don't know if they forgot about me or if there was some sort of emergency from one of the other patients or what, but basically I was just stuck there for the entire runtime of Shrek before they actually came in and saw me. So that was a pretty inauspicious omen pretty much right off the bat. And then, to make matters worse with these guys, the dental assistant, or whatever the job description is of the person who's in charge of the cleanings, God, they were an absolute butcher. Holy shit, the worst I've ever had. Like, there's never been a time when my gums were pulverized more than being in the chair with this woman trying to clean my teeth. Like, holy shit. And I guess it's partially my fault for being one of these dental patients who's too passive and just prefers to suffer in silence while all this stuff is going down. But god damn, in hindsight, I wish I said something like, geez, this person was an absolute butcher. And after every cleaning, my gums would be hurting for like a day and a half afterwards. Not exactly a vote of confidence for the service being provided here. But you know, an hour and 45-minute wait, and then the cleaning lady from hell. I guess all this stuff could be somewhat excused. But where I really fell out with these guys is from sort of the griminess of what I perceive to be their business directives. So I, in general, have always had pretty good teeth. Maybe not the best teeth in the game, like everyone's beloved Anthony Fantano, but I like to say I had a pretty good track record. Brush twice a day, every day, And for a while at least, pretty much no cavities or tooth decay to speak of. And I'm pretty confident in saying that because that's what every dentist besides these guys have told me. But no, with this particular dentist office, there was always some kind of problem that needed to be fixed. I think I first started going there when I was 16 or 17. And after every exam, they'd keep bringing up that I have this underbite that needs to be corrected. Where they were trying to sell me, or I guess my parents, on this giant corrective head brace thing that would totally not make me just the biggest outcast in all of school and cost thousands of dollars. They kept trying to sell that. And this is a distinct mental note I made about them, where like the moment I turned 18, they suddenly stopped pushing it. All of a sudden, this super bad underbite that needed to be corrected and was never brought up again. And at that point, it became clear to me that it was all just one big sales push. And as I was about to guess, these guys were probably making some pretty good referral money off of selling these expensive procedures and medical technology, when realistically, it was probably not necessary. So this is sort of where my deep skepticism for the medical industry started to manifest. This particular dentist right here being pretty brazen and just trying really hard to sell me on stuff that I didn't actually need. And the moment I turned 18, it was like flipping a switch. It went from, oh, we gotta correct the underbite, to we gotta get those wisdom teeth out. Yes, it's a big thing in the dental industry, at least in this country, where a lot of teenagers get all 4 wisdom teeth extracted, usually before the time they turn 20. And I understand that in a lot of cases, it's probably justified. It's one of those weird things with human evolution in the last 10,000 years where, on average, our mouth has become too small to support wisdom teeth. So in many cases, they come in impacted and can cause complications. So I understand the need for the surgery on some people. But I also suspect that a pretty big part of the push to get people's wisdom teeth out is overstated. And that the dental industry treats this surgery as almost a necessity. They've almost branded it as sort of this rite of passage for becoming an adult, where it's like, oh, you're reaching the end of your teens, you gotta get those wisdom teeth pulled. When I doubt that as many people actually need it as the dentist claims. Because as soon as I turned 18, they tried to push for me to get my wisdom teeth yanked. While in reality, my wisdom teeth were growing in just fine. I got a big mouth, you know. How else would I piss off all these people on Twitter? So my wisdom teeth were coming in fine. And over the course of my college years, they came in fine. So if I had been persuaded by this dentist's office to get them extracted, it would have just been this $1,000 procedure, painful procedure for nothing. And I took a lot of umbrage to how they were willing to push this surgery on me without seemingly any care for the possibility that I might want to keep the teeth. And I do. I like having all 32 teeth in my mouth. There's something satisfying about it. Who knows, maybe if I got them removed, I wouldn't have ended up caring. But since I have them, I like having 32 teeth. I would prefer to have 32 teeth than 28. I don't know, I think something about getting them taken out would make me feel incomplete. So I kept them. And I don't really regret doing so, except for, now here's the plot twist. One of the wisdom teeth ended up getting a cavity. And this is where the story takes a turn for the frustrating. You know, my parents always told me growing up, you gotta brush your teeth twice a day. Don't slack off on cleaning your teeth because you're gonna wind up with problems and you're gonna wish you had. And you know, for the most part, I listened to them. But I don't think I really appreciated the advice until just one stretch of days when I was in college. I don't exactly know why it happened, but maybe I was too busy or I was out traveling and I forgot my toothbrush or something. But just one moment, for a span of about a couple days, I didn't end up brushing my teeth. And before that happened, I had a little bit of caked on food or something in the grooves of one of my wisdom teeth. And you know, until you get a problem, you always think that, oh, tooth, they're bones, they're strong, they should be resilient. But no, all it takes is just a little bit of food stuck on there for a little bit, as I learned, and you wind up with a cavity. The enamel and the outer shell gets stripped away, and all of a sudden there's a big hole in your tooth. Now, I wasn't in pain, and the pain wouldn't end up coming in for years, but it didn't look that promising. The tooth was definitely damaged. And God, man, to think that all this trouble happened just because I skipped a day or two brushing, it's very frustrating. And it's just, that's the lesson you gotta learn, and I learned the hard way. But you know, now there's this big, unsightly, dark spot on my tooth. And the next time I go into this dentist, I can tell, oh, they're just licking their chops. They're saying, oh, you got a cavity. You got to get that extracted. Here's our referral code to the dental surgeon so we can get that sweet referral money. And based on the prior years of bad faith experiences I had with these guys, I pretty much rebelled against the idea of getting the tooth taken out. Because I didn't trust their judgment, plain and simple. I mean, back then, the tooth felt fine. And I didn't want to rush to making this permanent surgery, when for all I knew, the cavity could potentially just go back to normal. And part of me also didn't want to give these dentists the privilege of getting one off on me and saying, haha, yeah, we got that referral money out of him yet. Was it petty of me to ignore the medical expertise? Yeah. In hindsight, I'd say so. But I really, really don't appreciate dishonesty, and I don't appreciate being lied to. And for me, it was the case of the boy who cried wolf, where I didn't trust these people. And so I ignored the recommendation. And years went by with no complications. And for a moment, I thought I was going to be in the clear. But in the past month or so, suffice to say, the other shoe dropped. And this tooth finally started hurting, where the decay had reached a point where it's probably getting deep into the tooth, and it's something I actually have to worry about now. So I'm at a new dentist now since I moved away from home. And I actually trust these guys a lot more, mainly because the times I've been going in there, they haven't been trying to sell me something every single time I've gone in, like the old guys used to do. And so I finally had to make an appointment with them to go get work done on it. And I'm not getting the tooth pulled like the other guys tried to do. At least that's what I hope is going to be the situation. For now, ideally, I just want to get it filled so I can keep the tooth, because that's something that particularly matters to me. But man, like I said earlier, it's the first actual serious dental procedure I'm ever going to have done in my entire life. And I'm not exactly happy about having to do it. There's something to me that's deeply terrifying, deeply unsettling about someone drilling into the bones in my mouth. Ugh. I think everyone has a little thing like that that really creeps them out on a profound level. And for me, the idea of getting surgery, the idea of someone just prodding around inside my body, ugh, I'm really not looking forward to it. And I've talked to other people who've got fillings, trying to make myself feel a little bit better about it, and they always say that it's not going to be that bad. It wasn't that bad. But man, I can't help but feel that it's like I'm going over the abyss. It's like the fear of someone prying into my body, coupled with the fear that they might screw it up, and I'm gonna have to go back in to get possibly an even worse procedure done. And I have good reason to believe that they might, because a few years ago, a close friend of mine, they had to get a filling, and the orthopedic surgeon ended up screwing it up. and their tooth was still in pain after getting the work done because the dentist filled the tooth incorrectly, and they had to end up going to a different dentist to get the tooth refilled. And then that procedure ended up not being successful, and to this day they're still having problems with that tooth. And watching this person's experience unfold from the sidelines, it's definitely given me a pretty big fear that just going in for one surgery, all of a sudden you're roped into this huge fiasco where there's this long compounding series of errors where it just gets worse and worse. And I know that that's probably not the experience for most people. Most of the time the surgery is successful and there's no complications. And it's just a matter, like everything, where you gotta weigh the risk and benefits and whatever. But man, I guess by the time this video comes out, the procedure will be done, and we'll just have to see how it works out for me. But it's just something for me where I wish I didn't have to do it at all. So I guess the moral of the situation is to just brush your teeth every day. If you've got tired of hearing it from your parents, well, now you're hearing it from me. Brush your teeth as often as you can, just so you can avoid dealing with the dentist at a future time. Alright, just got the tooth filled. My mouth is still numb. But at least, hopefully, that'll be the end of it, and I don't have any more tooth problems anymore for the rest of my life.